is just like life. It is interesting and we spend a lot of time doing amazing things here, but it comes with a fair share of trouble. Hello, friends, myself Vishal, and today on Law Solutions, I am here with another new topic which is interesting. Uh, I suppose you will like it. And today's topic, which I'm going to talk about, is the cyber law in India. With the technology boom and easy internet access to the country, cybercrime too has become a pretty common occurrence that we all know very well. From hacking into computers to making fraudulent transactions online, there are many ways in which we can become a victim of illegal cyber activities. Now let's talk about the need of cyber laws in India. In the present world, which is more tech savvy, the word cyber law and cyber crimes are very common and are very sophisticated. Internet and technology were launched in research purposes and making lives of humans easy. But as the users are increasing on the internet, as the nature of the internet is anonymous, it is easy to commit cybercrimes. Thereby, many could misuse this aspect largely. With the exponential growth in the digital space, the establishment of certain reforms were highly needed for the security of the citizens' privacy and data protection. Now let's talk about what is cyber law. Cyber law is nothing but it is a law governing a cyberspace. Cyber law in India prevents any crime done using technology where the computer is used as a tool for cybercrime. The law for cybercrime protects citizens from dispensing sensitive information to the strangers online. Cyber law in India is not a separate legal framework. It is a combination of a contract, intellectual property, data protection, and it also prevents privacy. The importance of cyber law in India. The cyber law in India or cybercrime law in India are important because of the prime reason that cybercrime acts in India encompasses and covers all the aspects which occur on or with the internet transactions, activities which are concerned with internet and the cyberspace that we all know. The cyber law in India has paved the way for the electronic commerce and electronic governance in the country by ensuring maximum connectivity with the maximum cybersecurity risks, also enhancing the scope and expanding the use of digital medium. Now let's talk about different cyber crimes which used to come by using internet on the cyberspace. Few of them are there which I am going to discuss with you. One is identity theft. When personal information of a person is stolen with the purpose of using their financial resources or taking a loan or a credit card in their names, then such a crime is known as identity theft. Here, your identity is being fraudulently retrieved and being used for fraudulent activities. Now comes cyber terrorism. Cyber terrorism is when a threat of extortion or any kind of harm is being subjected towards a person, organization, group, or a state. It is known as a crime of cyber terrorism. Generally, it includes the well planned attack strategies on the government and corporate computer system. This is very common these days, and we used to listen a lot in a month or two about these news about cyber crimes, cyber terrorisms. Now comes the cyberbullying. When a teenager or an adolescent harasses, defames, or intimidates someone with the use of internet, phone, chat room, instant messaging, or any other social network that a person is said to be committing the crime of the cyberbullying. And when the same crime is done by adults, it is known as cyber stalking. Now let's talk about hacking. What is hacking? The most common cybercrime is hacking. In this crime, the person gets access to other people's computers and passwords to use it for their own wrongful gain. This is very serious and crime in a cyber law. Hacking, as you are intervening someone's computers, by knowing their passwords and all, by hacking their passwords and all, and you all do for a wrongful activity and for a wrongful gain, and it's a serious and heinous crime. Now comes defamation. While every individual has his or her right to speech on internet platform as well, but if their statement crosses a line and harm the reputation of any individual or an organization, then that can be charged with a defamation law. Copyright. With the massive surge in the internet users, when the data's information is distributed in all the platforms, copywriting your work aids you to restrict the use of your work. Any use of your copyrighted without your permission is a punishable offense. Trade secrets. This is also one of the cyber crimes. And here, internet organizations spends a lot of their time and money in developing softwares, applications, and tools, and rely on cyber laws to protect their data and the trade secrets against the theft, and doing which is a punishable offense. Freedom of speech, we have listened a lot about freedom of speech, and same is levied on this internet cyberspace as well. And when it comes to internet, there is a very thin line between the freedom of speech and being a cyber offender. As freedom of speech enables individuals to speak their mind, cyber law refrains obscenity and brashness over the web. Nowadays, we see many, people are managing a group of people on the social network. So it's their responsibility to manage what type of conversation is being handled there. Though it's a freedom of speech, but still, we have to see all these things as well. Now comes harassment and stalking. Harassment and stalking are prohibited over the internet platforms as well. Cyber laws protect the victims and prosecute the offender against this offense. Now let's talk about the evolution of cyber law in India. You see, with the increase in the dependency on the use of technology, the internet for cyber law was necessary. Much like every coin has two sides, therefore the dependency on technology has its own pros and cons. This rise of the 21st century marked an evolution of cyber law in India with the Information Technology Act 2000, popularly known as IT Act. First ever cybercrime was recorded in the year 1820. I have a question with you. Does cyber law concerns us? The answer for this is yes, it does. As the nature of internet is changing and this new medium is being seen as an ultimate medium ever evolved in the human history, every activity of yours in cyberspace can and will have a cyber legal perspective. From the time you register your domain name to the time you set your own website, to the time you promote your website, to the time when you send and receive emails, to the time you conduct electronic commerce transactions on the said site. At every point of time, there is a various cyber issues involved. You may not be bothered about these issues today, but you may feel that they are very distant from you and that they are not have an aspect on the cyber activities. But sooner or later, you will have to tighten your belts and take a note of cyber law on your own benefit. Now let's talk about the objectives of Information Technology Act. The main objective of Information Technology Act is to provide the legal recognition of all e-transactions, to give legal recognitions to digital signatures to the valid signatures, as a valid signatures to accept agreements online, to give legal recognition to keeping accounting books in the electronic form by bankers as well as other organizations, protection of online privacy, and stopping cybercrimes. So these are the few objectives which we should know. Now, what is the Information Technology Act 2000? It is regarding our cyber law in India. When the emphasis is on the need of cyber law, on cyber security laws, then it was imperative to implement an IT law in India. Thus, the Information Technology Act 2000, or also known as the IT Act 2000, came into force in India. Since the enactment of this Indian Internet law, we were drafted to bring in view all the electronic records and online electronic activities to legal recognition. The IT Act also addresses the important issues of security which are critical to the success of electronic transactions. The Internet law in India not only validates digital signatures but also provides for how authentication of the documents which have been accepted and generated by using the digital signature can be done. Now, governing the laws. There are no statute in India for governing cyber laws involving privacy issues, jurisdiction issues, intellectual property rights issues, and a number of other legal questions. With a tendency of misusing a technology, there arisen a need of strict statutory law to regulate the criminal activities in the cyber world and to protect this true sense of technology. Information Technology Act 2000, which is also known as ITA 2000, was enacted by the Parliament in India to protect the field of e-commerce, e-governance, e-banking, as well as penalties and punishments in the field of cybercrime. Act was further amended in the form of IT Amendment Act 2008, that is ITAA 2008. As Act is cybersecurity law introduced to secure cyberspace, the information technology laws was amended under the Indian Penal Code, the Indian Evidence Act, the Bankers Book Evidence Act, the Reserve Bank of India. The prime focus of cyber law in India is to prevent crime on the computers basically, the forgery of electronic data and record in e-commerce and other electronic transactions. Now let's see the IT Act which went through amendments. The IT Act 2000 went through amendments in the year 2008. They were, these were made in the light of laws on cybercrime IT Act 2000 by the way of the IT Act 2008. They were enforced at the beginning of 2009 to strengthen the cybersecurity laws. Modification in the Information Technology Act 2008 included the change in the definition of some terms such as communication devices. The amendment of the definition of the communication device was to include the current use, to validate the digital signature, to make the IP address owner accountable, and impose liability for data breaches. Now let's talk about how to prevent cyber crimes. There are few things which we can take care of so that we can avoid these cyber crimes by ourselves. No doubt the cyber security laws or cyber laws in India provide protection and cyber crimes. However, prevention is always better than cure. Therefore, one should take following steps to prevent cybercrime. Number one is unsolicited text messages. We all get text messages from the unknown numbers. One should be cautious and try to avoid responding to these text messages or automated voice messages from an unknown number. Download everything on the mobile phone from a trustworthy sources only. Ratings and feedbacks. We all know that we always check the seller's rating and feedbacks of customers for the seller. But we have to be sure that you are checking current feedbacks. Also, beware of the feedbacks that are 100% seller favoring or having an entry on the same date. Personal information request. Everyone must have received a call or a mail in which the person on the other side asks for the personal information. This includes your card CVV or any mail containing an attachment which requires you to click on the embedded links. Be sure never to respond to such emails or calls. What are the advantages of cyber laws in India? There are many advantages of cyber laws in India, which basically, protects a common man using the internet or cyberspace. These are basically meant to secure the e-commerce infrastructure of online businesses, digitally sign your contracts or papers, introduce new business for certifying authorities, proficient use of e-forms as prescribed, meticulous monitoring on web traffics, electronic transaction safeguards, emails as a legal form of communication, and are approved in the court of law. So these are the few things which we have talked about cyber laws in India. Though it's very important that we should be very cautious while using the cyberspace, and by following these few tips, we can always be on the safer side so that we may not get trapped. The people, having negative mind on the cyberspace. Hope you have liked my this informative video. Would like to subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that you may not miss any of my upcoming videos. This is all for now. Thank you once again. Stay home, stay safe. Signing off for now. Thanks a lot.